Hello again. Welcome back to art. I'm so glad you're here today. I know that we've been going through all this distance learning, and I hope you're safe. I hope you've been able to keep up with your work. Remember, you could always reach out to me in the Teams and ask any questions you have about the artwork and try to submit your work. Even if you don't have a way to submit it, I can always accept it through email. But please send us the pictures because I really love to see your artwork. It's beautiful. The work that I've been receiving is just fantastic. Now, today I wanted to talk to you about making art using letters, making art using words. Now, I know what you're thinking, Mr. G, words. I use words and letters to do my assignments and to write stories, but to make art? Yes, some of the most beautiful artworks in the world include letters, include words. Now, today I'm going to show you a very easy way that we can transform our letters into beautiful pieces of art. I don't want you to be nervous and think it's like something that you cannot do. I'm going to show you step by step how to make a beautiful art bubble letter alphabet. And that's how we're going to start today. And then we're going to use that and we're going to make our name in art. But that'll be next week. But first, I want you to meet an artist that uses letters to make art. Her name is Jessica Hish. And she lives in San Francisco, and she's going to talk to us about her artwork, what inspires her. She's going to talk to us about the kind of assignments that she does, and you're going to see examples of her work. But you're also going to see how she makes her drawings. She's going to make a beautiful drawing that you're going to be able to see. She's going to make it with pencil. She's going to use a little ruler, and she's going to do it in her sketchbook, okay? So let's go enjoy a little bit of an artist who uses letters to make her art.
So lettering is a really weird profession. I get paid to draw words and letters and phrases all day. There's calligraphers who write letters, there's letterers who draw letters, and then there's type designers who draw letters but as a part of a system that all kind of works together, and that's where you get your fonts from. So lettering is kind of like, I'm not the engineer or the architect that builds the skyscraper that can then be replicated in Hong Kong, which would be the type designer. I'm more like your weird uncle who builds you like a really special dollhouse and then will never do it again. I'm Jessica Hish, and I'm a lettering artist and author living in San Francisco. Well, what happened for Moonrise Kingdom was that I drew everyone's name in the beginning of the film, and then I made a typeface to use for the end credits. It's very rare that I get to collaborate directly with another artist on a project like that. It was really awesome and special to feel like it was this very artistic collaboration and didn't feel like a cut and dry client project. I got started in lettering, well, if I had to roll it all the way back, it would probably be me drawing all of the popular kids' names on their Trapper Keepers. I went to art school to just study drawing and painting, and when I was in college I discovered graphic design, which I was completely obsessed with. Being able to solve problems and work on the behalf of clients just totally blew open my world in terms of being able to have an excuse to create every day. So when I'm brainstorming, what I first do is I do research. When it comes to doing anything for a book, it means reading the book. When I'm doing editorial illustration, it means reading the article. A good place to start is by redoing the design of something that you already love. Like maybe there's some fantasy book that you grew up loving, but you always hated the cover. I get much more out of making these sort of like verbal brainstorming lists. When it comes to harmony, the first words that came to mind were smooth, grace, musical, nature, natural, flowing. But the thing that's great is that because I'm not making pretty art at that stage, I don't judge myself for whatever I'm going to write down. The only thing that I worry about is that someone's going to discover my notebooks later and think I was like a total maniac. Everything that I do starts off as a sketch, whether that sketch is done in a sketchbook or on an iPad or on a piece of loose leaf paper or on a napkin at a bar. Like, it just depends on how I feel that day and how prepared I am with my materials. And then once I kind of have my layout figured out, then I'll use a more intense pencil. So when people look through my sketchbooks, they think like, wow, you do it perfect the first time, every time, when really there's like layers and layers and layers of erased, very light sketches underneath of what you see here. First, what I'll do is I'll lay down my baseline. which is what the letters sit on top of. And then next I'll figure out what I want my X height to be. So the X height is the height of the lowercase letters. So if I made my X height really tall and I wanted to fit my word within this space, it would mean that my letters would be really, really skinny. And if I made my X height really short, and I wanted to fit the word within this space, it would mean that my letters would be really wide. So I'm gonna do something kind of in between. And what I'll first do is sort of set down a very light drawing. So I think one of the things that you should remind yourself when you're starting out in lettering is that being naive can be really amazing because you do weird things that people with experience do not know how to do anymore. So don't think about your lack of experience as being a disadvantage. Think about it as being an advantage because you can make stranger art that can be super cool and random versus someone that has a ton of experience. They have a really hard time breaking the rules. I'll go in and add my fix and thins. I know that any place where a pen would have made a downstroke instead of an upstroke is likely where that thickness is going to be. I'm going to scan my art so that I can put it on my computer. Now I have a proper scanner, but I haven't used it in like 5 years because of amazing apps. I have a perfect scan. The biggest advice I can give you is don't let the intimidation of actually starting down the path to do anything be what stops you, because it's hard for everybody. It's hard for people with all the confidence and talent in the world to start projects. I'm a big, like, eraser dust everywhere person. Just like, that's it, cut.
So what did you think? I really like the way that she talks about her making her art. I enjoy that she shares with us that she's been making art since she was in school, when she was very young. Now, I know that you guys are young and you love to make art. Of course, you can one day become a professional artist. There are many jobs in making art. Now, she was not ever thinking that she was going to get really famous in making letters. And now she's one of the most famous people that makes letters for a living. She's even worked for movies like you saw in the video. And I hope she's inspired you, because right now we're going to start making our letters. We're going to start with bubble letters. Okay, I'm going to get a piece of paper. You're going to need a pencil, an eraser, and a sharpener. And we're going to make the easiest bubble letters ever. And then next week, we're going to use what we learned today to make our first project using words. Okay, so let's get started. Let's go do our art. All right, so the first thing we're going to do in making art from words and letters is we're going to create bubble letters. Now, bubble letters are easy. They're not hard to do. You just have to have a good pencil and a good eraser. An eraser is very important. Make sure you have your sharpener too, because you want to have a nice point all the time. Now, bubble letters are just that. We're going to make letters and we're going to put a bubble around it. We're going to draw together now. So we're going to relax. We're going to enjoy drawing. We're going to do the whole alphabet because everybody has a different name, right? And we spell differently. We have different letters in our names. If I just do a few letters, I might miss the letters that you have in your name. So I want to make it as easy for you as possible so that you can draw your letters. So let's start with the letter A. We'll try to do both letters. We'll try to do the capital and the lowercase letter. And you'll be able to pick and choose. You'll be able to learn how to make all of them. And let's see how easy they are. Okay, so before we do that, before we start our alphabet, let me just demonstrate on this scrap piece of paper that I have here in the direction we're going to go and why you need an eraser. Okay, so let's start with my letter, right? The letter G. Here's my capital letter G. Do you see it there? And this is the lowercase letter G, right? Okay, so to do a bubble letter, all you have to do is draw around it. Draw a bubble. Imagine there's a big bubble around the letter, but the bubble doesn't close as a circle. The bubble's just going to go around every line. It's going to go around every line. It's going to look almost like a force field, an energy field that goes around the whole letter. You see that? Same thing here. going to go around every line. I'll keep it round for now. And then on the inside, I'm going to draw a little circle. You see that? There's a little circle there. So when you have a round letter, a circle part of a letter, you want to do a little circle inside. So step number 2 is to erase. We erase the line in the middle. And we erase the little g. How's that? You see, now I have 2 bubble letters, one with my capital letter G and one with my lowercase. Now, did you notice something? Did you notice that when I did my first letter, the letter G, not the bubble part, but the letter, I did it kind of hard. I pressed down really hard, and now when I erased it, I can still see it. Now, if you don't want that to happen, when you draw your letter, just draw it lightly. Do a light drawing, so that later when you erase it, it's easy to erase. It'll disappear real quickly. And now you see the little circle, why we needed the little circle. All right, let's get started. Let's start doing our alphabet. Let's do it one by one, and let's have a nice relaxing time drawing our alphabet. And don't worry, we're going to get to your letters sooner or later. Let's start with the capital letter A. There's our capital letter A taking shape. And our lowercase a, or little a. All we're going to do is going to do a bubble around it. We're going to trace a line. I'm going to bring it here closer so you can see it, right in the middle. Trace a bubble around my letter. Keep the ends round. And inside, a little triangle, right? Because that's the shape that the A has. It has a big triangle, so we draw a little triangle. Same thing with the small letter A. Draw your bubble around. Draw a little circle in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and erase it so you can see it. And see that we have the letter A. And there it's erased also. And you see? Now we have a block letter. I'll call it block letter, bubble letter. Let's go to the next letter. What's the next letter after A? That's right, B. I'm going to do a light B, capital B, lowercase b. Now when you do this art project, this art assignment, take your time. Have fun doing it. Try to relax, try to concentrate. You can draw along with me. If you want, you can pause the video. When you get to the letter that you're going to use, the one for your name. Or you can go back or forward in the video till you get to the part that you want. If you've got a different eraser, you can have a different eraser. I just use this one because it's the one I have. But you can use the big one if you want. You can use the eraser of the pencil too. You see the little one? But this one's going to run out pretty fast, right? If you make a mistake, like me, see I got this letter a little too close to the B. Let's see what I can do. Ooh, I squeezed right through. If you make a mistake on this paper, don't worry. This is a practice paper too. But if you want to really do a good, careful job, that's fine as well. You can keep the paper as your guide for the future. So whenever you need to see how you did a letter, you can go back and use this paper as a guide. Now I'm not going to erase the line in the middle. I'm going to leave these lines. I just erased these so that you could see how it's done. Capital letter D. When a letter is closed, when it has an area like this, that has an inside area, and I like to see, you see how the letter C is an open letter? The letter C is open to everything. Air can get all around it. When you have a closed letter, inside you have to do the same shape, just smaller. There's the big letter D. Lower D, lowercase d. Make our outside bubble. And because this is a closed area, we make the same shape. Next letter, the letter E. Take your time. Do the best you can. If you don't do it perfect the first time, or that you think is not perfect, you can always erase it, right? And do it again. Now the little shape inside the E. So when I erase this line, it looks perfect. All right, so what's after E? Ooh, E snuck out over here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. E was outside. All right, let's go to F. Now this is the way I do my letters. If you do your letters differently, that's okay, because you could just do a bubble around it. However you do your letters is fine. You just have to remember to do your bubble. And it works for all letters. It works for numbers too. The letter G, I know this one. I use this one a lot. For your first practice, this one that we're doing today, just try to follow along with me. Try to do the letters the simple way, the easy way, the way you know how to do letters. Later, you can change letters up. Like, for example, I've been doing G's for a long time. I'll just give you a small example of what I mean. You could do a G like this, right? That's a different G, right? It's got a different style. But even with this different style, I can still do my bubbles, right? Just a different style. But don't do different style. Don't get too fancy for your first practice. For your first practice, keep it simple. Here's the letter H. The nice thing about this bubble letter technique is that you can apply it to any letter, to any style. If you want to do skinny letters, you want to do fat letters, however you do your letter, you can do bubbles around it. And then I'll show you a different way to do block letters, different fancy ways to do block letters. But today we're just doing the block letters, okay? We're going to do our alphabet first. Oh, look at that. Mr. G started already with a block. I'm going backwards. I got distracted. How's that? Trust me, when you get good at this, when you practice it a bunch of times, you'll be able to do bubble letters without having to do the inside letter first. You're going to get so good at it. Here's another letter I like, J. There's lowercase j. Did you notice what happens when the letter has a dot? You just do a circle around it. Okay, let's go to another letter I like. K. Alright, let's do baby K. Oh, there's J in case I didn't show it to you. Let's do baby K. L. What comes after L? My favorite, M. Oh, I love M. M is like a mountain, right? Like two mountains together. Let's just go around M. I think M makes one of the best bubble letters. Baby M. Look at that, M and M. Did you get that? Okay, big N. Baby N. Oh, super easy. You don't even have to do a bubble letter around it. You just do your bubble inside. Oh, bubble inside. And that's it. Oh, it's done. All right, let's see if we can get to all the letters. Let me see. O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V. Oh, we're running out of space. Huh? Okay, let's see if we can shrink them up. Let's do P right here. P is a little smaller. Baby P. Let's see if I can do Q over here. Big R. S. T. U. V. W. I think we're going to make it. X. Y. And Z. Okay, I was able to squeeze them all in. Now, if you can't squeeze them all in, don't worry. You can use a second piece of paper. Okay, so you can have a second piece of paper handy. You can even use 3 papers if you run out of space. If you're one of those people that love to draw big and you need 3 papers, that's perfectly okay. All right, let's go to the P. There's our big capital P. We do our shape on the inside. And our baby P, same thing here. Q. Now Q's an interesting one. It looks kind of like an O, but it's got this thing. So we're going to do the outside bubble. Go around the outside. And for Q, you're going to do an inside bubble. So you're going to trace it inside. You see why? You have to go around that little stick. Now just to show you how that works, when we erase it, when we erase Q, it looks like that. As a matter of fact, let's do Q one more time, because that is a tricky one. Let's put that big paper aside and let's do Q together. Okay, I know that very few people have a Q in their name. Very few people. But let's just understand how to do the Q in case. So we do our circle around and we go around the little leg. Let's call it a little leg, a little stick. And on the inside, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go around. And when we get to the little leg, we're going to go around it. There's our Q. And then last but not least, we go ahead and we erase the inside. Okay, so there's Q. All right, let's go to a popular one, which is the next one, the letter R. There's a lot of R's, right? There are a lot of R's in our names. And then S. S is easy. You just go around the S. You don't even have to stop. Baby S is the same thing. T. T. What word starts with the letter T? Tomato. What's another one? Tower. What's another one? You tell me. Put it in the comments. Not in the YouTube comments. Put it in the team's comment where we work together. U. Ukulele. I remember that one. Ukulele. Now, look at what happened here for my U. My baby U is stuck to my big U. I could try to squeeze a line, but no, I have got my eraser, right? I can redraw my baby U a little bit to the side. I go around, and I fixed it. See? It's a magic eraser. I love it. The letter V. V is pointy, so do a little point at the bottom. Again, I have this problem with the baby V, where it's too close. Use my powerful eraser. And go around to my V. Let's go to W, right next door. These are the easy ones, right? We just go around them. No need to do a little shape inside because they're not closed. X, also go around it. Don't worry about that cross in the middle. Y, same thing. Oh, these last ones are a breeze, right? They're easy to do. Now, I know what you're thinking. Do I have to do them all? What if my name doesn't have the letter Z? Why do I have to do it? Do them all, my friends. Please practice all the letters. When you practice the letters, even the ones that are not in your name, it's going to make you a better letter artist. All right, so these are my bubble letters, okay? I want you to do a paper just like this one. Of course, when you show it to me, you're going to erase all of the lines, right? I'm going to go ahead now. After I leave, I'm going to go ahead and finish up all my lines so that I can leave all my bubbles nice and clean, right? I just use the letters as a guide. And like I told you, the day is going to come, if you practice enough, that you'll be able to draw them without having to draw the letter first. Now, I'm going to put this away, and I want to show you some more things that we can do with our letters, okay? That they're not just bubble letters, but you got to do this one first, okay? Do this one. Show me this one. Put this in your Teams page. Add this to your assignments. If you are not able to do that, remember I always take an email. You can reach out to my email and you can send me your work through the email. All right, so let me bring in a new piece of paper so that I can show you some other fancy things we can do with our letters. Okay, so here is a new piece of paper. And so what we've learned so far is that we can take a letter. We're going to work with the letter G. We go around and we've got our bubble letter, right? And we erase it, and that's a nice bubble letter right there. But this line that we're using is just a curvy line, right? It's just a curvy line that goes around, ends up in nice smooth curves. But what if I use a different line? What if I use a line that has curves but also has straight parts? So what if I go ahead and I want to do a block letter? I do the curves, but instead of doing a round edge or round end, I do a straight end to it, like this. You see? That's more of a block letter instead of a bubble letter, just by adding a straight end to it. Let's use another letter. Let's use the letter A. So we learned to do the bubble letter, right? There's our bubble letter with the round ends. But if we want to do a block letter, we draw a letter first again, and then we start drawing our lines. But when we get to the end, instead of doing a curve, we do a straight line. Instead of a curve here, straight line. Same thing here. And inside we do a nice pointy triangle. And see, by making the ends straight, we've got a different type of letter. This is a block letter. Now we can play with this in 100 different ways. Let me show you what I mean. You can change the letter around. So for example, let's say I want to do a fancy letter G, right? I could just go ahead right now and follow that fancy letter. Make a bubble around it. And now I've got a fancy letter G. Or what if I want to try a different type of line? Here I have my letter A, and I want to do a zigzag line to make my letter look like it's electricity. Oh, it's an electric letter. It's a thunder letter. I can do that too. You see? What if I want to make a letter with a line that's wavy like the ocean, or gooey? I can curve my line all over the place, make it nice and wavy, and I can use that letter for different things. Maybe I want to make it like a scary name, a scary word. I can change those lines. I can make it fancy like this one. I'm going to use this smaller eraser so I can get into there. Oh no, this eraser is not doing a good job. Always try to get a good eraser. That eraser was, está viejito. It's kind of old. So you see how you can play around with the bubble? From just a regular bubble, making it a block, to all kinds of fancy things that we can do. Oh, another one. Oh, another fan favorite. A fan favorite. Oh, I like this one. I had forgotten this one. This one is one that a lot of people like. Look, even though I kind of messed up my A there, you see how wobbly it looks? It doesn't matter because I'm going to erase that, right? Can you tell what this line is? What's this line about? Yeah, it's fire, the fire letter. So just by changing the line, making it look like fire, now I've got a fire letter A. I got a lightning letter A. You can have as much fun by changing the line as you want. But today's assignment, for today, what I need to see this. I need to see your alphabet, okay? Do your alphabet. If you want to color it, that's perfectly okay. You can add color. And then, if you want a little extra credit, go ahead and change some letters. Change some lines. Show that to me too. I would love to see it. All right, now, go have some fun. Go make your bubble letters. And what I'll do is I'll give you your actual project assignment after this next week, okay? So go enjoy yourself, and I want to see your beautiful work. I can't wait to see it. Bye-bye.